everybody, welcome back to A Focus on Business. Today, I have a cool cat. Actually, I've known this guy for a little while now, but we almost 2 years.
Yeah,
Almost
just about,
2 years.
yeah. Yes, sir.
And here's the thing. We all know we have to have credit, right? You can't buy a house, you can't rent a car, you can't get insurance, you can't rent a house now. Everything is credit based. And guess what? We're all human and we all make mistakes, right?
All the time.
Make mistakes, right?
Every day.
This is Michael Mergner, and he is from Alpha Credit Recovery, and he is the guy that can help you fix your credit. And in today's society, we've got to have good credit. So the first question I'm going to ask was, which I ask everybody on the show.
Please ask away.
What in the world got you into fixing people's credit?
Man, it's a long journey. I've ruined my credit in the past myself, right? And what happened, John, is my parents are immigrants. They immigrated from Poland during the communism, and credit really wasn't spoken in the house that often. Great parents, raised me well, but credit, right? Schooling system didn't really teach me anything about credit as well. I went to auto class and took woodworking and calculus, but nobody taught me about credit. So naturally, I failed my own credit.
Right.
And it took me a few years to really realize what kind of impact that's having. I couldn't get a car. In your young 20s, you want a cool car. My car was falling apart. Wanted an apartment. I couldn't get an apartment. I needed to ask a friend to co-sign for me. And it finally hit me. I need credit. Credit is everything.
Right.
And after I started kind of digging into my credit, I actually went ahead and used the credit repair company.
Okay. Oh, so you have experienced the other side.
I did. I tried two. I tried one of the big guys, and I wasted a bit of money,
right?
Unfortunately. And then I tried again with a smaller company, and they gave me the personalized solution, and it was an inspiration for me. And then a few years passed, and life goes in different directions, and I decided to travel the country and drive semi-trucks. Support to all the truck drivers.
Driver.
Oh, yes.
Woo,
Yes, I was. Lower
man.
48.
You got to see the world at 75 miles an hour.
80 on the West Coast in some states. I was definitely hauling.
Right.
It was good times. If anybody that hasn't traveled, please, America's beautiful. So a lot of places to see.
Get out there and see it. Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And as I was traveling and across the country, I just had this epiphany, because I didn't want to really travel for the rest of my life. It was a way to make more money and kind of catch up on some bills and whatnot. And it was good. I really enjoyed it, but not a lifestyle. And I thought about credit. And I had a decent amount of knowledge about credit. And I did a little bit of research on how hard can this be? Well, I was a little wrong. It was hard. There's a lot to understand and learn and to follow. But my fiance that traveled with me, Sandra Moya, love you, love of my life. She was actually reading to me training material as we're traveling across the country. So as I'm driving a semi-truck, delivering goods, I'm learning more about credit and how it works, how the whole system works. Because again, I lacked the previous education.
It's amazing that they don't teach this.
North Carolina is the first state that actually made it mandatory, I believe last year, to make it for students to learn about credit.
Wow.
And basic finances, correct. So
okay.
we need to implement that everywhere. It's a big mess out there. It really is. And a lot of folks, I get clients that call me, potential clients. Sometimes they just need a piece of advice.
Right.
And I really wish more credit repair companies would give that education.
Right.
It's not just about deleting negative items.
Right.
You need to have the file set in a certain way. So the algorithm, FICO is what most lenders use.
Which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that because there's some changes coming, from what I understand.
Big changes.
That's kind of scary, actually.
It is. But we'll mention the 40 million people that will be positively impacted by the end of the year and the 40 that will be negatively impacted by the end of the year a little bit later. But yeah, drove the semi-truck, coming back to that really fast.
Yeah.
let me do credit repair, and started off with my friends and family. I started seeing results and decided to make a business out of it.
Nice.
It little rocky in the beginning.
Right.
Obviously, it costs a lot of money to get started.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like in anything. So I maintained a full position. I actually left the semi trucks for numerous of reasons. I had my first daughter, and I wasn't going to be on the road and miss her growing
Tough.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So let me back up real quick.
Yeah.
So coming from not the United States, right? Coming from Poland.
Well, so I have an accent.
You do have an
I do. I was actually born in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Lived in Utah, and then when I was younger, we moved to Poland. It's where my parents are from.
Right.
And I was young enough to pick up an accent, just never left me.
Right.
So it works.
But okay, so in Poland, credit's not a thing.
Quite frankly,
Is it only the United States that's a credit?
no. So Equifax, for example, is in Canada,
Oh, okay.
and also in the UK. They have some sort of credit lending system in Poland. I'm not fully aware of it. I have enough loss to worry about over here in in the States, so
Right.
let them be. But it's funny you mentioned that in Poland, you don't go out and buy a home
Okay.
like over here. Traditionally, it's 30 days, mortgage, off you go. Here's
Right.
a loan for 30 years. You literally are building generational homes. Now it's changing a little bit, but for
Right.
the longest time, you would have two generations of families live in the same home, and whatever you got paid, that cash, 'cause there was no credit previously.
Oh, okay.
You build another section of the house and another section of the house.
I have a lot of Greek friends that they said that's the way it is in Greece, and a lot of the part of the in there it was said, the grandmother or the great grandmother and grandfather had a home, and then when the kids going in, they built another section, and then when the grandkids, then they built another section. They all lived almost like in a little compound.
Correct.
That see, to me, I like that because that means that it's a homestead. It's everybody's there.
As long as they get along together.
Yeah. It's when they start feuding. You're like, oh God, go buy your own place. Yeah. So, but okay, I'm sorry. I just thought that was cool.
No. Please, yeah. So, what I left.
So you were literally being fed information while you drove,
Yes.
and then you came off the road, and then you said, okay, I'm going to do this.
I'm going to do this, but it took a while to get some good traction,
Right.
The technical aspect I understood, but then I had to understand the business aspect, and if nobody knows you, you're not helping anybody,
Yeah,
right?
it's amazing how many people open a store up or they'll get a website and go,
Grand
okay,
opening.
I'm open.
Who's
When are you
lining
going to
up?
show up? Then 6 months later, man, nobody's walking through the doors. No
No.
one's hitting the website. You got to work it.
Correct.
Right.
You do.
Exactly. So
And I've done a lot of work for free to get started, to
Yeah.
get my name out there.
Right.
I'm a big believer in networks and relationships.
Right.
So I never burned bridges, kept good networks and relationships.
yeah, the
so that
first
helped
place
me a
we
lot.
met you was a home show.
Yes,
you
we
were
did.
working it, man. You were working it. It was good too.
It was. I was able to gain a few clients and help them, and actually one of them from that home show purchased the house as well due to my help. So
See?
it's amazing. It's
That's
all
awesome.
blessings.
My
yes.
wife, so my wife is a mortgage professional, and let me tell you something. And I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm just being
Please.
honest. Credit. Sometimes these credit people come and go. But you've been there the longest that I know of, credit wise. And my wife is like, Michael's the best.
I love her. She's amazing,
best.
a sweetheart.
Right. So you get going. How hard was it to learn that process? Because I know the whole Equifax and TransUnion, it's like a secret world and nobody knows, and it's that's why I think a lot of people are scared to death to even talk about credit.
Well, as much as the internet is a blessing these days, it's a curse. And everybody has a voice.
Right.
And there's a lot of noise out there. So filtering through that has helped a lot. one of my main softwares that I use. They had a lot of training material as
Right.
well, and I started connecting on private Facebook groups and just asking questions. I'm constantly learning every day. There's stuff that I even question myself, like, how did I not know that?
Right.
But it's okay. I'm open. I'll be the first to admit, mistakes do happen.
Right.
About 6 months to get a good grip on the reality of credit is how long it really took.
Right.
And then
So
continue
everybody will stop
education.
listening to Uncle Bob, who gives everybody financial and credit advice, right?
Correct.
Stop
correct.
listening to Uncle Bob and we'll start talking to Michael.
Please.
So how long have you been in this Alpha Credit Recovery now?
February 7, 2017 is when I started.
That's okay, good.
And it took me about a good year and a half to get some solid traction. And we're growing strong. We've made some amazing connections.
And you even experienced the downside of the credit world for yourself, right?
Oh yes. Like I said, I've made every mistake possible. I've made every mistake possible. Again, looking online, you start reading stuff. I thought that if I owe money, logically it makes sense. I'll go ahead and pay these collections off that I was irresponsible with previously, and then boom, next month I'm gonna have good credit. I spent more money than I should have. Should have settled those accounts
Right.
negotiated, pay for deletions. But
Right.
Lesson learned. I'm a firm believer that we live and we learn. No losers allowed.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I like it when we're talking. I like bringing people on here that A, they know their stuff, and B, they've experienced it, because that makes a big difference. It's like a non-alcoholic trying to tell an alcoholic how easy it is to quit drinking.
I would agree. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So if you've not experienced it and you've not been there,
You have to feel it. You have to
Yeah.
feel the shame.
right?
There's nothing to be ashamed of, but you still feel it, the disappointment,
Right.
the rejection. You go to the department store, every time you go, would you like to apply for a credit card? Would you like to apply for a credit card? Your bank, would you like to apply for a credit card? You go to the auto dealer and you don't buy the car that you want.
You take the rag you get.
Let me see what they
Yeah.
can give me.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. Okay, so we're getting ready to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about really who's affected by the credit. The average dude or Joe, if one whatever you're going to call it,
Or her.
or her,
Yes.
or Madame. So what we'll do is when we come back, we're going to talk about all those people. So we'll be right back after this message. All right, welcome back. We're talking credit, man.
Credit.
Credit's a big deal.
It is everything.
I mean, I can't believe how big a deal. See, as a kid, I'm like, well, whatever.
Sure.
And you listen to mom and dad. I got to go buy a house. Credit's this, blah, blah, blah. We can't make this. Can't do. But the average Joe, the average dude, how does credit really affect that person?
Every level. It really on every single level. Credit isn't about obtaining debt. It can be, right? But it's for your car insurance. Credit it's a risk predictor. How likely are you to go 90 days late on account or more, right? That's all really your credit
Right.
score is.
Okay.
The chances of you rebounding from 90 days late or more are slim to none. So if you have a low score, or no score, right? But if you have a low score, that means you're not current with your obligations. That means that you might be more of a risk taker and you might speed or text while you drive, right? I'm throwing it out there. I don't know the exact reason, but
actually,
that's
you know what? I've never thought of it that way. I always thought that of it was all about what debt you have, but but if they're using it as a primer for predictions,
correct.
wow, I didn't think of it that way. I mean, I've been in this world for again my wife's a mortgage person, so I've since I've known her, it's all she's ever done, and I get it, but I never have thought of it that way. It's scary in a way.
It is. I mean, but at the same time, what else do we have to predict your likelihood of
Right.
being, you know?
Okay, so I'm gonna. So what if you have no score? What if I have no? What if I'm 35 years old and I have no credit because I've paid everything? I've been blessed enough to just buy everything with cash, including my first car and blah blah blah.
It's gonna hurt.
It will hurt you.
You're gonna have a hard time getting an apartment. You know that cash. I get this a lot where people say, "Well, if I just had $1 million," and $1 million doesn't get you that far these days.
No, no.
But if I had $1 million, I don't need credit. That is so wrong on so many levels.
Okay.
Every business person that I've ever met and interacted, they put the risk on the bank. Right. So if they've done everything properly, they have a good credit score, business and personal. If they need to make a bet for their business and hedge it, they're going to hedge it with their against their credit.
Right.
So give you an example. Let's say I will invest $100,000 into my business, right? And I have it in cash. If my prediction of how my business will scale after investing the $100,000 is right, great. But if I'm wrong, I'm out that $100,000. Nobody will give me a refund.
Right.
If I put it on credit and it fails, I might damage my credit for a little bit, or I might make some negotiations with the banks, but I still have liquid money available to take care of my immediate needs and my family. So cash is good, but up to a certain point, right? The rest, put the risk on the bank.
What age should someone really start trying to establish credit?
I mean, I would please all parents if you have a credit card that's been open for quite some time and you're making your payments on time and keeping a low utilization, put your child on there as an authorized user. Start building that credit early. Don't let them go out into the world when they're 18 and they're not educated and they get a credit card with a $300 limit that has a $175 annual fee.
Oh,
So
God, yeah.
Don't do that to your
Right.
children. So as soon as possible, the sooner the better.
Okay.
And it starts with the credit card. You can't have really credit without credit cards.
Having a phone's not credit. Having paying
No.
your light bills, your
Correct.
internet, and all that kind of stuff, that's not credit.
Now, if you miss payments,
It's credit.
it's credit. It is
Bad credit.
it is bad credit.
Right,
Correct.
right. Okay.
So it happens all the time where I've previously when I worked in the retail environment in a wireless world, people would come up all the time and ask me, well, I'm going to build my credit. And I just,
No.
shaking my head. I'm like, no, let me break it down to you.
Right.
It won't build your credit, but make sure you make your payments on time because it can
Because
ruin
it'll
it.
destroy your credit.
Correct.
Right. Then that's the difference between having an AT&T or Verizon phone versus a Cricket phone.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Prepaid where you have to buy the phone outright,
Right.
or if you have credit to get in with the company, you can finance that phone. And they finance these phones at 0% interest. We all know everything's getting expensive.
Yeah.
And your dollar is not worth the same today as it will be
Right.
next year, inflation. So if again, hedge the bet, put the risk on the bank or the cellular company in this example.
Right.
Let them take care of the bill and keep your money close to your heart.
There you go. Okay. So sorry, I had to divert there. Those are the questions that I'm like, well, these are okay. So okay. So now we're all trying to work for a good FICO score, which stands for
FICO or Vantage.
Vantage. I've not heard the Vantage.
So I'm sure you've seen it. You've heard of Credit Karma.
Yes. Okay.
So Credit Karma uses Vantage. Let me take a step back. FICO is a private company,
Okay.
just like the three credit bureaus are private.
Which are Equifax, TransUnion, and
Experian.
Experian.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the three main ones we care about. There's actually more credit bureaus out there.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't know that.
CoreLogic, SageStream, they also collect information on you and sometimes backfeed it to the credit bureaus.
Oh. Okay.
So if anybody has any questions, they can always reach out and I can explain
Yeah, we
more in detail.
We get your phone number, your website. It's always on the below, so that way, if you've got a question, now is hey,
Please,
send
give
it
me a
to
call.
him. Send it to him. Exactly. So I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So everything is a private company. All the credit bureaus do is collect information that's given to them, essentially, right? And FICO takes that information and through their mathematical algorithms that calculate what kind of risk you are. They're similar, but most of these scores, but they do vary. And at some point, the three major credit bureaus, they got together and they created Vantage.
Oh, okay.
Vantage is what we see in Credit Karma. When I hear people say it's a fake score or not the right score, that's not an accurate statement. It's just most lenders don't use that score. About 98% of them don't use Vantage,
Right.
but it's still out there. For example, I know Pentagon Federal Credit Union. They use Vantage for their scoring model,
Okay.
right? So big bank, and they do differ. There's over 60 different credit scores out there.
Whoa, 60.
Yes.
Huh. See, I learned something today. I thought there was 3,
No.
but there's 60.
Over 60 credit score models.
Wow.
We're getting more by the end of the year.
Jeez.
That's going to be FICO 10 and FICO 10T. And we'll see how it plays out. It's supposed to be launched by the end of the year.
Okay.
But the main difference with that one is the utilization ratio, right? So normally right now, regardless of which FICO score is being used, because depending on what you apply for, you'll have a different credit score, right?
Okay.
Different one for a mortgage, different
Right,
one for an auto. But with the new FICO 10T, it takes the last 2 years of your usage on your credit cards or your balances and makes an average. So again, they're getting stricter and using these algorithms to really see what kind of risk behavior you are. Previously, if you have maxed out your credit card and you dropped a bunch of points on your credit score, pay it off. Next time it updates, you got those points back. That's not the game anymore.
Because that's the new big change coming to FICO.
Correct.
Okay.
Thankfully, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac for mortgages, they still use the older algorithms, FICO 2, 4, and 5.
Okay.
So that will still
Yeah,
stay true.
I know in the mortgage world, again, because I've been in this world, you take 3 big, and then they throw the low and the high out, and they take the medium.
Correct.
The middle one's the one. So it doesn't matter. And they're not saying we throw out TransUnion, we throw Experian, and we only go with Equifax. It's whatever the 3 are, and they take that middle one, and that's your average. Kind of.
Well, so not an average. They just take the middle one.
They
Correct.
just take the middle one.
Correct,
Because
yes.
they figured high, low. All right.
Yeah, anything could happen, right? You might get lucky and not have something negative reporting, or the opposite, and have a lot more of an inflated score.
Right.
So that's why they take the middle.
And just let everybody know, because I know I hear brains out there going, shh. Well,
It's a lot of info, I
I'm
know.
just going to opt out of all this. Can you?
No, why? I mean, why even attempt? Listen.
I hear these people, I hear these guys on television and on the radio, get rid of your credit cards, pay off your mortgage fast, or sell your car and buy a piece of junk or something that runs where you don't have credit, and just get out of that world altogether. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't do that.
No.
If you do that, you can't. You'll never be able to buy a house. You won't be able to. Down the road, if you start making some money on, like, I'm tired of living in this little bitty house, I need to get bigger. Well, unless you're going to pay cash.
You celebrate Christmas, right?
Absolutely, love Christmas.
Awesome. Me too. Christmas comes free to me. Everybody freaks out about money when it comes to Christmas.
Right.
The date hasn't changed for over 2,000 years, right?
Nope.
Yep. It's a lack of preparation. I use my credit cards
Right.
to obtain cashback rewards, and any average Joe can do this. And by the end of the year, I don't touch them at all. By the end of the year, whatever I have in cashback rewards, might be a couple $100, might be $1,000, depending on how much I spend. I cash that out, and that's Christmas for that year. Christmas is free for me.
See, that's smart.
That's credit.
And that really is how it affects the average Joe.
Correct.
If the average Joe will sit and prepare and do the right thing,
Yeah.
Christmas could be free.
That and
Or Easter or whatever. I don't Hanukkah, whatever you do, man.
whatever you
don't
want to
judge.
buy, whatever you want to buy for yourself, you can
Trip to Vegas.
you can have it for free.
Right.
Another way that I see it all the time. I'm not bashing any buy here, pay here places, right?
No.
There's a lot of great businesses, but the financial structure behind it is high interest rate, right?
Right.
Very high interest rate, and I see it all the time with clients where they'll buy a car for a couple $1,000s. It's already inflated more than it should be. They make these weekly payments. Florida, there's no leeway as far as repossessions go.
Nope.
One day and they can repo your car.
Yep.
Very strict state. car breaks down,
Can't afford to fix it.
3 months down the road,
Right.
no warranty, no anything. They're already paying $500 for a car that should be $200 per month, right?
Right.
No other option, take the car away. They're back at the same dealer or the one across the street and further damaging their credit.
Right.
And there are legal repercussions behind that. It's not just credit.
And now, I know we got about a minute left in this segment, and predatory lenders. I mean, when I say that word, I mean you're getting into the. And I don't mean rent-a-centers, errands, all those kind of places.
Yeah,
they're considered predatory.
Anything 90 days, same as cash, run the other way.
Run the other way.
Run the other way because you will pay 5 times more for that item. It's just not worth it.
Right.
I would rather you just save the cash or fix your credit and finance it with normal traditional financing than have that immediate gratification. It's going to cost you.
See, there you go. All right, folks. So you guys stick around. This segment's almost over. We're going to come back. We're actually going to talk about the process of what Michael does, because that's a big deal. I mean, he's the one that you're going to pay to fix it and get it going the way it should be going. So we'll be right back after these messages. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
So let's start. I'm going to use me as an example.
All right.
Okay, so we're having our first meeting. How does the whole process work?
Sure. Well, thank you for reaching out in the first place.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's your first step right there.
There you go.
You have to be self-aware.
It's like going to AA. You got to know you have a problem.
Yes, you have to know that you have a problem.
Sorry, I keep picking on the AA guy.
Anybody that has problems with the AA, please, I'll help you regardless with your credit. But yeah, jokes aside, you can listen. You first step is to know that you have a problem, obviously, and the next step is to pull your reports. Even when I speak with my clients, right? You come to me, we schedule a consultation. Don't charge anything for the consultation. I do ask you to pull your credit reports through one of my credit monitoring partners that I use. It's going to cost you $1. Hope you have the dollar, right?
Oh, $1. Okay, I can deal with that. I got $1. I get you $1.
Yes. It costs you $1. You're going to pull the credit report, and I will audit and dissect your whole full credit report and strategically come up with the best way to move you closer to your goal.
Do you do all three?
Yes.
Okay.
All three at the same time.
Big three.
Big three.
Big three.
Your goal might be home ownership, so we're going to tailor our plan of action towards that goal. It might be purchasing a car. It might be that just want better credit in general because you want an apartment at some point. During the consultation, I explain all your rights. It's not magic. What I do is not magic. It's just following the laws, right?
Right.
So if something is not accurate, not timely, or not verifiable, it needs to go. The Fair Credit Reporting Act protects you, the consumer.
I've heard that term used a lot. The Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Yes.
And that is a big deal.
It is a very big deal. That's a very big deal. That's what governs the credit bureaus to make sure that the information, again, the credit bureaus don't give you a score. They're not damaging your credit. They're not helping your credit, purposefully at least, right?
Right. Sometimes you feel like they're being vindictive, but it's not them.
It's another story for a different day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, they're just collecting information.
Okay.
So that information, since there's so many individuals in that system, mistakes happen. And if they don't correct the mistakes, there's laws to protect you as the consumer to make sure that they do correct it. If not, you're entitled to money at the end of the day. So Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, you've probably heard it, is one of them. Fair Debt Collections Practices Act is another one. You have DCPA. You have the UCC. There's a lot of protection out there for consumers. Not for business credit. That's a different story. You don't get that protection. But for consumers, there's a lot of protection. So I just make sure that, just like if you were to get a speeding ticket, right? And I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be one. But if you don't show up to court, you're just going to have to pay the ticket and deal with higher insurance premiums because of the rates, right? If you hire a lawyer, he might even cost you more than what the ticket is, but your insurance rates might not go up because he gets rid of the points, or you might not even pay the ticket, whatever the story may be. Your odds and chances of having a better outcome are a lot better with professional help. So we audit the report, go over everything, explain what you need to do. A lot of folks are afraid of credit cards, and you really can't have credit without credit cards.
Well, you get these super talkers on the radio and TV, again, like I was saying before, that tell people to stay away from them.
I'll give you an example. I bought an item last year that I wasn't satisfied with, and the particular store did not want to return the item. I even went on social media.
Kill them in social media. That's
nothing.
the new thing, right?
Nothing. Well, they were just unfair with me at the end of the day. I believe in quality at the end of the day. I called my Amex. Amex gave me a refund. I didn't charge back the purchase because I did purchase it. I sent the item back to Amex. Amex took it, and Amex gave me a refund. With a credit card, right now in Florida, you need a credit card, actually, to rent a car.
Yes. A real credit, not a debit card.
Not a debit card, not a prepaid card.
Credit card.
A real credit card to rent a car. So, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to having those credit cards. I'll see throughout the process if you need some installment loans or not, and I'll explain what potentially, based on previous results, could be removed, right? Because more likely than not, they don't have the right information or not. There's no guarantees. Never, ever do I ever guarantee a specific outcome to any of my clients. One, it's illegal. Two, it's against, because it's against the Credit Repair Organization Act that governs me. Again,
you didn't go out there willy-nilly and started a company that started doing this. You literally have rules and regulations you must follow.
Correct. I mean, the state attorney generals, they take care of people that there's a lot of bad apples in my industry. That's nothing to hide about, right? So I do my business the right way, and we keep it clear and transparent. Explain that not everything can be deleted. Not everything will be deleted. There are some clients that have no success. I still guide them and educate them. And even with that, I've had times where, plenty of times where clients' credit score would improve, which would help them to move forward. At the end of the day, time fixes everything, from a broken heart to bad credit. Another thing that I go over, and I make sure I mention this to every single client, because there's a lot of misconceptions. We all hear that. Get a 750 in 30 days. Wrong.
I wish.
No, wrong.
That's $1 million, right?
If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Watch out for those frauds. But a big issue that a lot of people don't talk about is credit and debt are two separate things. In the state of Florida, for example, the statute of limitations is for written contracts is 5 years. So that means from the time you stop making good on payments with whoever you owe money, the clock starts ticking. They can sue you at any time. It doesn't matter if I fully am able to remove something legally off of your credit report. They can sue you.
Still come after you.
Correct. And, I also explain to my clients, a lot of times people say, well, I've heard credit repair is BS and stuff just pops back on. It can. That particular item, if the original creditor or collection, they asked for, an extension, they could have re-verified and validated the information, and they do have proof that it is yours. It could go back on, but Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? They have to send you notice 5 days before inserting it onto the credit report.
Okay.
That's very rare. It doesn't happen that often. The bigger thing that happens more often than not is if something gets removed and it's within that 7-year time frame where it can report on your credit report, they can sell it to another collection company. They have that legal right.
Right.
So I tell my clients, best thing you can ever do is once something is fully removed, go ahead and settle it. It's a better deal than you can get on any Black Friday. You're paying 30 to 50% of what you originally owed. You're preventing from being sued. You're preventing it from being sold to another collection company, further damaging your credit.
Even if it's, what do they call them, charge-offs?
Yeah, charge-offs, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Credit repair is not something that somebody comes in blind and here, take care of it. It's a partnership. We need to work at the goal together to make sure we achieve mutual success.
Okay.
Sometimes, it makes sense strategically to pay certain items to improve your score, like a charge-off, which you mentioned right now.
What is a charge-off?
So when an original creditor cannot collect on a particular item after so many months, 120, right? It just gets charged off. It doesn't mean that you're forgiven the debt. It means
So you still owe that debt?
you still owe them, and you still have that negative item on your credit report. Correct.
Okay.
And at any point, they can either outsource that debt to a third-party collection company or just straight sell it to a collection company. And then you're being dinged twice for the same thing.
The same one.
So I want to avoid that, right? If something gets fully removed and there's still a balance on there, go ahead and settle it. Be done. If I can't get something removed, right, and there's a balance, for example, revolving account, so like a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a balance on there, even if it's closed and charged off, the algorithm for your utilization, that balance will count towards your utilization, so how much you're using based on how much you have available.
Got it.
But you don't get the benefit of the limit.
Okay.
So in that particular sense, it just makes sense. Go ahead and pay it, settle it. I'm not telling you to pay it all in full.
Right.
Settle it. It's the ethical, moral thing to do, and you're avoiding a lot of issues in the future.
So they can't, even if they settle it for half, they can't come back for you and re-report you for the other half?
No. What could happen, though, potentially, depending on the amount and how aggressive the original creditor is they might send you a 1099-C.
So you made money.
You made money.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
By not paying the full amount. So
Got it.
if you owed $1,000, just for the folks out there, if you owed $1,000 and you settled for $300, that $700 difference, they might send you a 1099-C where you need to claim that with your taxes because technically it's income.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
So
All right. Okay. Who's impact? Okay, I got a couple questions here, and I wanted to ask, what is the process? Now, do you negotiate the chart? So say I come to you again. I'm coming to you,
Yep.
and you call them and go, hey, we'll pay this. Say it's $1,000, like you said. Do you call? Are you the one that's going to negotiate the payoff?
it's a lot easier than people think.
Really?
It is. It really
Okay.
is. So this is breeding season. This is Christmas for collection companies, right?
Right.
So you got to be careful because they know people are getting tax returns.
Got it.
So they're suing a lot more in
Right.
this particular
Now
time
they're
of the year.
aggressive.
They are very aggressive.
Okay.
But they're also open at the same time. I guide my clients on what to say. Technically, I don't settle for them. It is a different industry.
Okay.
In some instances, I do help them, but it's a different industry that settlement companies usually charge a percentage of what they help you save.
Right.
I don't charge anything. I
Okay.
just help my clients
Right.
and tell them what to do, what to say, and what not to say, because you
Right.
don't want to incriminate yourself.
Right.
Potentially resetting the statute of limitation, or you don't want you don't want to incriminate yourself, or you don't want any issues with that. So I tell them exactly what to do, what to say. If they feel uncomfortable, I'll do it, or I'll have one of my staff members do it, and
Right.
and we're good. We'll get it done.
Wow. Okay. That kind of makes me. I feel I mean, if I needed your service,
Phone call away.
phone call away.
I'm telling you right now, I know we have a few seconds. I did want to squeeze this in.
Yeah,
Phone
go
call
ahead.
away, student loans.
Oh God, have mercy. I know
Please.
more people freaking out about those.
It's an epidemic, and I see it on credit reports everywhere.
Right.
8 out of 10 credit reports have student loans, and just having student loans is okay, but the late payments, because they don't report 30 or 60 days late. They hit you with a 90. It's a key derogatory. Everything can be avoided with just picking up the phone and dial.
Right.
They want to work with you. They
Right.
want to make a deal. There's all different, deferments, income-driven repayments available. It's
Now,
really
does a deferment show up like it was deferred?
yes,
Okay.
yes, correct. Interest still is incurring, but
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So stick around. I know we went a little bit long in this segment. That's okay because we were short on the other one. So that's awesome. So when we come back, Michael's going to share some tips and tricks. And he's also going to talk about this. He's got a book.
I do.
And a book is a good thing. That means he's a professional.
Knowledge.
Knowledge is, what the thing is knowing is half the battle.
It's execution.
Well, and the execution is the rest of the battle. So we'll be right back after this.
I met Michael at the 10X event in Miami, and he began helping me with my credit. I started in the 400s, and now I'm in the 600s, and got a little bit more work to do. But I definitely recommend Alpha Credit Recovery.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. I couldn't talk there for a second.
Welcome,
All right. So
welcome.
now we're going to talk about tips and tricks, and we're going to talk about your book. Now, is that book, is it just a book, or can you get an ebook?
Ebook.
I love ebooks.
I actually have a surprise for everybody at the end of the video. So
that's awesome.
We'll
All
get
right,
to that.
So let's talk about some good advice.
You want some meat?
I want some meat.
All right. We were speaking in our last segment about settlements for
Right.
a quick second and
Yep.
making arrangement with collection companies. One meat on the bone, tips and trick I like to say is never give out your debit or credit card over the phone. Anything could happen, right?
Right.
These are third-party companies. They might click a wrong button, and there's nothing to argue because if you do owe the debt and you settle for half of it, they end up charging all of it. That's it. I mean,
And there's no recourse.
there really isn't, no. So certified funds, cashier's check, money order, make sure when you do that settlement or you do a pay for delete offer, send it with a tracking number so you have proof along the way that the item got there, the check got cashed, and if they do try to come back to you at a later time, and it does
Right.
happen.
Yeah.
Or
Certified mail or FedEx or UPS.
anything with
like
the tracking.
So you can see a signature.
Signature and a tracking number, and you're good. So
Okay.
whichever company's closest to your residence. So that's one tip. I wanted to talk a little bit about collections. give you some tips and tricks about
Right, yeah.
collections. So first thing I wanted to mention is whenever you are in collections, they need to send you a dunning letter, they call it, right? It's your mini Miranda and
Dunning letter. Okay.
correct. And when you receive that, on there, we call it the mini Miranda, it will read that this is an attempt to collect the debt. They obtained this debt from this and this company, and you have 30 days to respond to this particular notice. The worst thing you can do is to not respond to it.
Don't ignore it.
Yeah, don't ignore it. If you ignore it, I guarantee you it's going up after the 30 days.
Right.
It's on your credit report.
Okay.
Even if you're being strategic, if let's say you're a month away from closing on your house and some old collection pops up and you get that notice,
Yeah.
you can stall them by asking them to validate the debt.
Okay. Validate it.
Correct. Now and that's the FDCPA, the Fair Debt Collectors Practices Act. That's what protects you right there for a consumer. So now it's their burden. They have to follow and make sure that prove to you essentially that it is yours.
Okay.
So you can stall it. A lot of times they'll freak out because they don't have the information. They buy the collections in bulk. They have small tidbits information about you, but they
Right.
don't have the original contract or verifying information. So they'll just give it back to the creditor and that's it. Might have to deal with another collection company next time.
So I don't want to eat up time here, but that brings up a question that I
Please.
forgot to ask earlier. So if I say I had Sears,
Mm-hmm.
right, and Sears charged it off and sold it to ABC Collections.
Okay.
ABC Collections calling me, and I'm like, no, I want to pay Sears. Can I call Sears? Can I call the original debtor? Would that be debtor? No, the debtor.
Creditor, original creditor.
Original creditor, and go, okay, look, you sold it to ABC, but I want to pay you because I don't trust ABC.
It depends. It depends. So, like I mentioned previously, the debt might be outsourced by a third-party company,
Right.
or it might be sold to a third-party company. There are tips, there's tricks where you can force the collection company usually to get rid of the debt and the debt to come back to original creditor. But it's a little bit more technical than we have time for.
Right, yeah. Maybe that's another show.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So yeah, don't ignore the notice. And listen, debt validation letter, just simply stay on there. I need you to, you don't have to get technical. Don't use legal terms. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. You can get templates online or ask me. I'll send you one if need be.
Okay.
It's literally just asking, I need you to validate this account. I do not believe that it's mine, or you don't even have to say I don't believe it's mine, right?
Just say,
I need you to validate this
the debt.
account. You got 30 days to do so and move on. And then
Okay.
that I would also send certified with certified mail. So you have a tracking number,
Okay.
and they don't say they never got it, the
Right.
mail or
Yeah, that never come to
disappeared.
my house.
Also with collections, please check. I have a website that wanted to give out, but it's flofr.com, www.flofr.com. That's the financial regulation website for Florida.
Okay.
On there, you can verify a license with a collection company. Make sure they're licensed to collect in your state. I recently had a collection company out of state that their license expired. And each day that they're operating in a state where their license is not valid is $1,000.
No way.
Hey, got hit for 20 grand.
Dang! What was that website again?
flofr.com.
We'll put that in the comments,
Awesome.
the description of the show.
Also, check for statute of limitation, right? Each state is different. In Florida, for written contracts, it's 5 years. If there's a collection company out there and you're afraid that they might sue you, but it's been 6 years, don't even talk to them. There's nothing that they can do. Yes, it's on your credit report. If you really want it off, we'll work with a professional like me or try to arrange a pay for delete for a collection, right? Different than a charge off.
Right.
But they can't sue you at that point. I've gotten phone calls before. Again, my messed up past, right? A debt from 2008 or 9, and they're asking for money, pretending they're lawyers. I'm like, y'all are about to get sued. What are you trying to do? Zombie debt.
Right.
So know your rights. Know your rights. Also with collections, as far as a little bit more meat, I wanted to give out. Don't be afraid of the collection companies. They can't harass you. They can't threaten you. They can't be nasty to you. They can't call you before 8 a.m. They can't call you after 9 p.m. They can't call your employer if your employer does not allow outside phone calls.
Right.
That's not business matters. Those are all violations that, there are lawyers picking up these cases left and right for free, and they'll fight for you, and, you're entitled to monetary damages if that's what happens.
Wow. Okay.
If they are harassing you, the collection companies, send them a cease and desist, and they can't call you on the phone anymore. Well, they call you one more time to acknowledge they received the notice. They can't call you anymore. Still send you letters. A lot easier to shred a letter than
Exactly.
ignore all those phone calls. As far as the credit repair process, so I also wanted to give a few more tips and
Sure.
and tricks. Whenever you want to start the credit repair process, and listen, just like you can cut your own lawn and cut your own hair, you can fix your own credit, right? With enough research. I want to say, always start with the credit bureaus. There are laws that protect you, and they will not protect you if you don't start with the credit bureaus first.
Okay.
If you start hitting Tico or Sears or whoever, or the
Right.
ABC collection company first, you're going to forfeit those laws, and you don't want to do that. So start with the credit bureaus. Nothing fancy.
Right.
You don't want to put crazy law verbiage out there
Right.
that you copied and pasted off of Google. You're just, first round is simple, and I'm literally giving you free money right now, giving you a tip. Just go ahead and ask the credit bureaus to verify this information. You're not saying it's not yours. You're not saying it's identity theft. None of that garbage. Unless you have actual proof that it is inaccurate, right? But other than that, you just ask them to investigate this particular item. And they have to.
Right.
By law, they have to. They're going to
Okay.
reach out to the creditor and collection or whoever it may be. And that by itself might be good enough to get some items removed.
Wow.
If you want to beef up that success, before you even send out that first investigation verification letter, right, to the credit bureaus,
Right.
go ahead and remove your old addresses, your personal identifiers.
So you can go in there and edit that stuff on your credit report.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
send a letter to the
Yeah,
credit
I
bureau
would.
saying, remove these.
So I never do any disputes online. Again, you waive a lot of rights.
Right.
But for addresses, you can dispute your addresses online. Whatever reason you want to use. Again, I still prefer paper mail, snail mail. You have a good trail with it. But for addresses, you can dispute those online first, and then go ahead and ask for that investigation from the credit bureau. So I mean,
Okay. All right.
that's how the process starts with every client.
That's perfect.
The book.
Let's talk about
The book, man.
Dun, dun,
Let's talk
dun.
about the book.
So you can actually go to the free
Thefreecreditbook.com. Yes,
and there it is. So you can go on there and it's free.
it is free. That's my surprise. That's my
Wow.
gift for everybody that's watching. I've put this book together with a lot of good information, and it's not just pertaining to disputing. It's not just credit.
Right.
You can have a perfect credit score, but if other things don't fall into place,
Yeah.
you're not getting financed.
Right.
So keeping a budget, avoiding high interest loans, how to buy your car, all of that is in the book. I wrote it for my people, for my clients. The more people I can reach, the more I can help, the better it will be. I'm on a mission here.
It looks it. I like it. A lot of people don't care.
The poor get poorer, the rich get richer. It's not because of money. It's because of credit. And we're going to put an end to that. We're going to touch as many individuals as we can.
Okay.
For that exact reason. I mean, I retail this book for $24.99. I'm literally giving the ebook for free right now.
Dang.
Take advantage.
All right, so let's now he has a really killer website. So if you go to the alphacreditrecovery.com, there is a ton of information, and I'll have my guy scroll if you can back here in the back so you can see. I mean, I'm looking at credit audit, credit repair, credit education, credit building, and you got goals and dreams. So you want to know what's going on. Nice little video there, and what's holding back your credit, and that's just a consultation from you.
Correct.
They just give you a call or email you some information.
Yeah,
you give them the call. And go,
Right from the website, you can learn quite a bit. I put out good content,
Yeah.
blogging and videos as well. I have some helpful tools on there, and on there you can you can book an appointment directly with me. It's based off of me or any of my staff members, based on the open availability, right?
Right.
Or even if you have any questions or you want to learn anything more about credit, please go ahead. I only represent what's best for my clients. So at the very bottom, when we were scrolling, I have some offers that are for credit cards and credit building loans out there. So
That's absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, take a look. It's good stuff, and please reach out if you have any questions. Same thing, social media, Instagram or Facebook, Alpha
Right.
Credit Recovery. I'm everywhere.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, this has been eye-opening.
Pleasure.
Because I have, again, because of the world that I live in, my wife is in the mortgage side of it. I know realtors. I mean, and we have tons of people that come through on different shows, and this is probably one of the best credit. This is the best.
Thank you.
If
I
you're
appreciate it.
not using this, man, you should, especially if you're going to try to get some better credit and you want to buy a house or
Get your credit
car
right.
or get your insurance down.
Yeah.
Because I blew my mind how much your credit affects your car insurance and your home insurance. That's crazy. That being said, thanks for watching. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
you know
you
what?
joining.
Stick around next month because next week I've even got more coming in. We're gonna blow up. Focus on business. We'll see everybody next week.
Thank you.